You are now listening to the Cut and Caliber Podcast.
Welcome to the Cut and Caliber Podcast.
I hope you're going to put auto-tune on that.
Oh, man.
Burn!
Yeah.
Well, today's episode, we touch on some heavier topics in a way.
Yeah.
We're talking about being in a funk. A lot of us experience it.
Funk.
You're not in a funk anymore if you're singing.
No.
But,
yeah.
back to it. Steven's been in a funk for a while. And I think I've been in a funk for a little bit too. And we talk about why that could be, what some ways that can possibly fix that, and what ways have worked for us before. We're always trying to learn new things about us, how to get through things quicker, learn new things, and we even talk about some tried and true methods that have worked for lots of people.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and we're not saying like
doctors.
Yeah,
we're not.
We know
doctors.
exactly what we're talking about. We're saying what's working for us, and you don't have to be owning a business or having side projects or whatever to listen to this or to even get in a funk, because we all get into those moments where our negative thoughts are really guiding the way we're living our life. And so we kind of talk about how we deal with that. And so, like I said, we're not doctors, but we just talk about our personal ways of dealing with that. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast.
Funk it. What episode is this?
I don't know.
It's like 9.
Actually.
It's 9.
Is it 9?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I think so.
Well, why don't you say your catchphrase?
Episode 9.
9. Guys, hey, what's up? I hope your week's going great. Ours is going. It's just
How
going.
is it going though?
Well, I think that's what I want to talk about today. We were going to talk about something completely different today, and then on my way here, I kind of changed my mind because I feel like this might be relevant to more than just the average person, because it's not like you don't have to be running a business or whatever to kind of relate to this situation. And I'm assuming you probably already know what it's going to be because of the title of this podcast when you clicked it. But
Who's got the funk?
do you have like a song ready for that?
I did. I was playing it earlier.
Oh man, you should be
Shut
playing
me
it
down.
right now. I didn't shut you down. I was actually kind of hoping you would just keep playing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been in a funk.
I think I have too.
Yeah, and I think we might rub off on each other.
Your funk is rubbing off on me.
Not physically, mentally. And
I agree. So what I think is happening is it's a change of seasons right now here.
Yeah.
And especially in Alaska. We've had a really crappy spring. Like hardly any sun.
that might be a problem.
It's been
too.
rainy, overcast, and it's really, this is the time when people want to get outside and like stop hibernating from the Alaskan winter, and we just really haven't had a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And mixed with that, Steve and I are still trying to figure out a lot of things about what we want to do with
Yep.
our time,
Yep.
our businesses, family, everything like that is in change right now.
Yeah, it is. And I think the weather, you're for sure right on that.
It's got to be. It's got to be part of it.
Because I want to go out and adventure and film videos and like literally I've had like 3 or 4 great ideas last few weeks, and like each one has gotten
Rained
canceled
out.
because it's been rain or nasty out or windy or whatever. So it's just been really like weighing on me.
And I just want to chase a little white ball down the fairway. That's all I want to do.
That's all you want to do, and you can't. And
No, I have. I've
you
done
have
it.
actually. You've been really good at doing that. So yeah, I've been in this funk, and there's a lot of 2018 has had a lot of new things for both of us, but for me personally, it's been I moved, I got I would say a new job, but like literally I quit my job so I could be my own boss, which is very stressful in itself as far as finances and whatnot. And I think I'm just coming to, the point where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like weighing on me. And and I think everybody goes through that.
This is
right?
where the rubber meets the road. You're finding out
Man.
that if you want to eat if you want to pay rent, it's
gotta-
all judged based on how hard you work.
Gotta hustle, man.
Yeah, you can't go clock in
Right.
for 8 hours and sit there picking your nose. Like,
How did you know what I was doing?
I had a webcam set up at work.
Oh, creep. Freaking creep. No, I mean, that's true. I think, like, there's a lot of new things. And, you know, with that comes financial stability. That's a pressure that we all have. And
Yeah, it's like the number one cause of divorce. So.
yeah, a lot of time differences, scheduling differences, and whatnot. And so I found myself last Saturday. I just had come off a really big shoot that I was really nervous about, just because it was a lot of wheels, a lot of moving parts, and I was in charge of the whole thing. So it was very nerve-wracking. And once that was done, it was very freeing. But at the same time, I was like just getting in a funk, and I can't really explain it. And everybody knows it's not like something tipped me off, right? It's not like, you know, I was like, oh, this is what put me in the funk. I don't really know. You know,
It's a mixture of a lot of things.
I think that's probably the case, you know, with videos or with whatnot, not being able to answer questions. And so it's not like you're not alone, you know. There's people who go through this all the time. There's so much uncertainty, but I think this is life, and I think that's, you know, everybody goes through it, right?
Yeah.
And there's different ways to deal with it and whatnot, but how I chose to deal with it was literally get the heck out of Anchorage. And I left and I went to Soldotna, literally like on a whim. I woke up not thinking I was going to really go to Soldotna. I was actually going to go to Seward. Changed my mind last minute, went to Soldotna. And for those listening, Soldotna is like a 2.5-hour drive south of Anchorage. It's
a really pretty drive.
It is. It's one of the.
It's down the Seward Highway.
Love it.
Super scenic, right along.
Yeah,
and
it was kind of nice. I had my sunroof open, but what I did
listening to Kesha. What were you listening to? That's a big
see,
thing
that's, I was
for
just
road
gonna
trip
say,
music.
Most of the drive, I didn't listen to anything.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you're a psychopath.
Well, I mean, I listen to some podcasts. I think that's all I listened to. I don't even think I turned on music until like the very, very end.
Yeah.
But,
Podcast is okay. Dead silences.
For me though, well, I mean, like I had the wind and I didn't have any music, and I wanted to like think it out. And I am a talker, right? You know this, and the people listening probably know that I ramble, and sometimes
it's already been an hour.
And I'm still haven't really gotten to the juicy parts.
Part 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it, guys. Thanks for listening. See you next week. No, so like I wasn't listening to anything, and I was kind of just talking out loud to myself. Now that is definitely a psychopath, right? Because I felt weird doing it,
or genius.
But like when I talk things out, I'm like visualizing it, and I can actually organize it in my head a little bit better. And so I was like literally talking things out loud to myself in my car as I'm driving, and going over what I've been struggling with and trying to figure out how to push myself. Because I came to this realization too, is that even though I'm in a funk, I was like, dude, you know what? I just need a couple months away. Like no vlog, no podcast. Like I just need time to think. And I was like, why am I thinking like this? Like the vlog and the podcast have gotten me to this point.
Because you're thinking those are the things that are causing you to be in a funk. And
no,
so you're like
I just
wanting
think,
to get rid of them.
I think it could be like the art I want to create I'm not actually creating it, and how do I make the vlog and the podcast like that? So I was thinking like, let's take some time to think about it, like what we actually want it, what I want it to be, what videos I want to make, all this stuff. And so I'm thinking it out, I'm talking it out, and I was like, man, now is not the time to stop. And I know we've talked about this, the Gary Vaynerchuk saying like, you can work, 8 hours and then go to bed or whatever on your side hustle. But then there's going to be someone else, your competition, who's working harder than you to get the exact same thing that you want.
Right.
And so kind of in your mind, work as if like you're competing with someone for the exact same thing. Something like that, right? I'm butchering it.
Right.
But I think
while you're in a funk, somebody else is
right
hitting their stride.
Yeah.
And like doing it.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, now is not the time to stop anything, because I was literally like, on the way out there, I was like, I'm going to stop doing videos for a month. I'm going to stop doing it. And I was like, you know what? Screw that, because I want it. I want to make videos. I want to make content. I want to talk about this stuff. And yeah, like it just, you aren't going to achieve anything by taking a step back and trying to look at the bigger picture. I think you should do that as you're still working on stuff. So I think, you know, there was a few things I was thinking of. Like, I had to change my perspective on what I was thinking. I had to change my outlook of how I was looking at things. And so on this drive, like I'm telling you, it was like one of the most freeing experiences, because I had a 2-hour drive by myself there and 2.5-hour drive by myself back.
Right.
In less than 24 hours. And it was like the perfect thing of what I needed. And I didn't really focus. When I was there, I made a video, of course, but I didn't really like focus on making that. That wasn't like the point of it was just to get out and hang with friends that I don't usually hang out. I don't get to hang out with as much as I'd like. And so I think there was other things I was thinking. So I changed my outlook of what I was looking at, and I kind of started to visualize, you know, being outside of the box instead of inside of the box, because I was focusing on how I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it is wrong. And, you know, I'm a critiquer of my work, and you know that, and I'm a perfectionist. And so I just kept, you know, things would pop up in my head. You're not, you know, where you want to be. You're not growing the same way you want to be. Like, you know, those little like voices in your head, everybody gets them, and it sucks.
The voice in your head's negative instead of
man,
positive.
And it sucks. And so I had to kind of take myself out of the situation and kind of look at what I was doing it, and kind of, I mean, I really, there's still questions that need to be answered, but I think changing your perspective is a huge thing. I also think not giving in to your thoughts. You are not who, you're not like, you're not defined by your thoughts, I guess. So like those negative thoughts that we're having, they can just eat away. And I think, you know, you tend to be like, oh yeah, you're right. You know, that's a good point. Like, I'm not achieving what I want to be achieving. You know, I only have this many subscribers or followers, which I tend to put way more weight into than I should.
The positives.
Right? Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
Why?
I just learned this.
The whole subscriber thing?
No.
Or?
Why we focus on the negative so much.
Tell me.
So we have, and I could butcher this as well, but we have a 3-to-1 negativity bias in what we think evolutionarily, because to survive as long as we have, when we did something bad, we had to remember that it was bad. Like if you touch a bee's nest or a beehive, you get stung. You have to remember that.
You get stung
for the rest of your life, so that you don't do it again. And so it's the same idea with, you teach a kid to touch a hot stove. They'll remember that, right?
You tell your kid?
I made him touch it. I grabbed his hand and I put it right on. No. But we have we're literally programmed to remember bad things more often, to stay away from them, to survive longer. And so that's why typically people think negative.
Survival instinct.
Exactly.
Almost.
Because when you are driving on a highway and you look down at your phone and you almost got in a wreck, you will remember that, versus the millions of other times you didn't look at your phone and you drove safely. Like when you have a negative experience, you remember it and you focus on it, because that's what's caused humans to survive as long as they have.
Interesting.
And so that's a big thing in psychology, is thinking about why we focus on the negativity so much in our lives and bad things that happen. Why do we think about it? And that's why, supposedly.
And I get it. I mean, I'm just saying, like, negative thoughts creep in my head all the time. I just can't let that affect what I'm doing. And so honestly, I was like, you know, and I actually did an Anchor, and I talked about this example. And
What's an Anchor?
Anchor is an app.
Right.
It's like you can record stuff on your phone. It's like podcasting, but like very...
Like a phone call that turns into a podcast,
yes.
essentially.
Yeah, you can like send it to Google and iTunes or whatever. Anyway, so as I was talking, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I should record this. And so I chose to do it on Anchor. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, I was thinking of a time when I was going to the rock gym a lot, consistently, right? I mean, I would go a couple times a week. And I remember one day I was trying to climb this one route that was more difficult than I was used to, and I couldn't get it. And I kept like not quitting, but just being like tuckered out. Like I couldn't go any farther on this one route. And I kept being like, take my weight. That's when you like fall back and then they let you down.
Right.
And that's kind of
delay you.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, you're just like, I'm done. Like I can't go any farther, take my weight. And, anyway, so I remember, I think I tried it twice that day, and I can't remember who said this to me. I think it was the buddy I was with, but he said, or it might've been someone that was working there, but he said like, you start to see your growth once you push through those walls. Once you're to that point and you feel like you can't go any farther, and you push your body, because the human body is a huge, like, you have no idea how
what you're capable
how long
of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you could be hanging on a cliff, and if it's a life and death situation, you could be hanging on that cliff for a long time, just because your body's going into survival mode.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I was thinking, I was like, pushing through and then getting better, right? So I was thinking about that whole thing, was like, that's when you start to see results, is when you push through the hard. And I'm looking at, where I'm at right now, and I'm seeing myself like hitting that wall. Like I can't go forward. Like I'm not motivated. And like what we talked about a couple weeks ago, motivation versus self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not motivated. I'm not finding myself motivated to work on art that I want to work on. But I have to discipline myself to do that and to get through this. And then after this situation, this funk goes away. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep. Every time.
Ding. But I feel like once it goes away, then you'll come out a better person. Yeah. I mean, that's basically all I wanted to share, because it's been on my mind, and like the things I've been trying to like fight against, as far as like the negative thoughts and the motivation. Like I find myself being like, I have all this to do, right? I have a to-do list. I have all this to do, and I am in my bed on my phone scrolling through
Reddit.
Instagram or Reddit.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's something that I wanted to share, because it's even though we do have cool things happening, it's still like there's sometimes where the motivation is not there, and you have to discipline yourself to push through and to reach for that, that extra goal, because I think once you push through that, it'll be you'll be a better person after.
Sure. And I think there's a couple other scientifically proven things to help you get out of a funk. One is working out. Like you're saying, rock climbing, going for runs. These are proven techniques to help you release endorphins, release all these chemicals in your body that can help you through times like this.
A good point.
A lot of people that are frustrated with certain things can go for a run to clear their head. I mean, I'm not going to say that will work every time, but these are documented things that help.
Yeah, I'd say I find myself going on runs more when I'm anxious or stressed about something. And then you're right. So yeah, that's
another one is eating healthier. People talk about your diet really affects the type of person you are. You have a crappy diet, your body is filled with crap. It can't
literally
it can't perform at its highest state when you're feeling this funk. You're obviously not at your peak performance. So they talk about eating cleaner. Mm-hmm. Another one is meditation. People talk about taking, and this can be in any form, not your typical kind of Buddhist, but just taking a time to reflect on what you're grateful for. A lot of us that, especially if you're listening to this, are living in a time when it's never been better to be alive, and even taking a few minutes to realize what you have and what opportunities that are in front of you can help you realize that you're stressing or worrying or in a funk about things that might not even matter.
Yeah.
And you're alive right now. You have access to the internet. You have a lot going for you in a general sense. So
That's good,
I
actually.
mean, I think we encourage you definitely to look into different things that people do to get out of funks. And of course, if there is a more serious issue at hand, depression,
Yeah.
all these, a few different things that could be the cause, then, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going and getting help and seeing somebody about what's going on in your brain.
Yeah, that's good. As far as meditation, like I know you did it. Now I don't do it. I have the app, that helps me. I haven't
That
really.
means you did it.
I did it.
You have the app,
I've done
you're
it
doing
like once or twice, honestly, like with this app. But I know for a while you were doing it consistently for like a week or 2 weeks or.
I did it. I think I did it for like 3 weeks or almost a month every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So did you see in that time?
I do
the
see
positives of that?
I did. In the sense that it was.
Sorry. We're talking about the app Oak. Yes. Kevin Rose's app Oak. It's
super
free
cool
on iTunes. I don't know about Google, but I'm sure it's there too.
Yeah, and so essentially you're trying to grow your tree, hence the oak. And so every time you meditate, your tree grows a little bit. Super catchy. Yeah, exactly. And mainly it was guided meditations of sit there, feel the breath entering your nose, going down in your lung, et cetera, and it was
very
good.
calming.
Yeah,
very
because
calming,
that was the first thing I would do in the morning before anybody got up. It's in the living room where I could just sit there in silence and just focus on one thing, not business, not anything else. And it was great. I feel like I'm getting that again through other things. I use golf literally as kind of a meditation. I go out there and I try to not think about anything else in my life
besides golf.
Right. And I mean, it allows you to focus on something that in the big scheme doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think about what I have to do at work or what's going wrong or right in my life. I just focus on this opportunity I have to be out here playing outside.
So that's your form of meditation.
It's like a active meditation of, hey, clear your mind, focus on what's at hand, and then as soon as this is over, go back to real life.
Yeah.
And so those are just a couple things I think we encourage everybody to kind of find their own way to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are just the ways that we've done it. I mean, honestly, like I said, like I'm in a funk right now, and I think everybody goes
Do you
through
need a
that.
hug?
No,
okay,
I'm good.
You're not
I'm
that big of a
telling you,
funk.
like just even in 24 hours to drive, and then I mean, like I said, when I was there, I think I videoed for 30 minutes. It was very short, and then I focused more on having fun and hanging out with the people that I was with, and I didn't work. I didn't bring work with me, and that was just like that's almost all I needed. You know what I mean? I was really, me, I was feeling it last week. I was like, not wanting to do anything, but just getting out of town. And then I came back Monday morning. Monday was like one of my most productive days I've had because I feel like I had just a kind of an energized
feeling.
But I was just kind of like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. And I got tons done on Monday, and I just felt really good about it. So maybe you just need to get out of the four walls that you're in and your
Go
daily
try
life.
something different.
Yeah.
Change up the view. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's like a perfect example is nothing you've said. I feel like a lot of people don't feel like they would get in a funk or have issues like this if they had money.
Yeah.
But nothing you've said just now, I think I could solve with giving you money. Because a lot of people are so focused on money nowadays that money will solve all your problems.
Money would solve some of my problems.
Some of your problems.
For sure.
But at the same time, it doesn't give you purpose in life,
Right.
which we're all looking for.
Right. I was talking to someone just the other day. I think it was my mom actually, and I was like, I'm making less money than I ever have, really.
Right.
Now I'm also spending less as well,
Sure.
but I'm making less money. And this was a couple weeks ago, but I'm getting the least amount of money I've ever gotten, but I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Right.
Because I'm getting to do what I want and I've been wanting to do. So, but yeah, of course, money would
solve some of it.
Solve some of my problems because, of course, that's what happens.
Mo money. Mo problems.
So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to talk about, how I'm dealing with getting out of the funk. And I would be kind of curious to see if anybody actually, has another way to do it. Drop us a line on our Facebook page. I'd just be kind of curious to see what other people do. Let's wrap this up.
You know what else it is?
What?
It is actually National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Really?
It is May.
Interesting.
So, in some way, we knew that, and we decided to do a podcast about it. I just looked it up because I was like, I know that's coming up, and it's current.
This one. It's this one. Well, cool.
Like we said, use these practices to get out of a funk. Look up your own. Tell us your own. And if you need to, reach out to somebody that can help you.
Bingo. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to see you next week then.
All right, well, that does it for today's podcast. Guys, I hope it actually spoke to you and you related with it. Whether you're going through a tough time right now, or you have been, or you know what's
Or you
coming.
will eventually.
Yeah, it's not. And the thing is, like, for me, like I was saying, there's no point that I knew that I was, like, if I went through this, I was going to be in a funk. No, it just kind of happened.
Crept up out of nowhere.
It did.
And we don't want anybody to be in a funk, because the world would be so much better if everybody was not in a funk.
Okay, true. But also at the same time, I think we grow as people.
Go funk yourself.
I mean, no, I think that's true. I think we grow as people when we go through tough times.
It's true.
Tribulations. And so, even though this isn't like, I'm not saying like my time right now is a very tough time. A lot of people are going through a lot worse than what I'm doing.
Sure.
I'm just struggling mentally. I'm.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you want to follow us, now you don't have to, but we really recommend it. Check out @CutandCaliber on Instagram and then Cut and Caliber on Facebook.
Ooh,
what was that?
Puberty. And then if you really want to follow Steven, he lives at...
Yeah. And also, if you checked out our cutandcaliber.com and noticed that it was down, it is down for the time being. We are revamping it a little bit. And so we're gonna be doing it. So, but if you guys want to follow us, just make sure to hit us up on the Instagram and Facebook and whatnot.
And that's it for today.
That's it, man. Let's do it. Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Go funk yourself.
Who's got the funk?
Who's got the funk? I'm gonna funk you in the mouth.
I'm so glad I'm recording this.
That's a song.
I'm gonna funk you in the mouth?
I think so.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's gonna be like a secret track. It's gonna be like,
get the funk out of my face. Get the funk
out of my face. Yeah, that's good. That's
a real one.
Yeah.
Get the funk. Mm-hmm. If you don't like my music, you don't have to use it.
This is gold.
Semi-pro.
I'm still recording.
Good. Funk you, man.